David Thompson is the Nuggets' very first All-Star. Quite literally, as the Denver Nuggets, who were formerly part of the ABA, would merge to the NBA in 1976. Thompson would be then selected as an All-Star in Denver's first year as an NBA team in 1977. He would then be selected as an All-Star again in 1978 and 1979. David Thompson, also known as a Skywalker, was an undersized forward standing at 6'4", but what he lacked in size, he made up for in talent. Thompson was known for his incredible leaping ability, dynamic scoring, and all-around offensive game. His blend of athleticism and skill made him a force both in the NBA and the ABA. In his 3 years of being an All-Star in Denver, he would average 26 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, and on top of that, he would average a steal a game. He was quite impressive for an undersized forward and can do almost everything for a team. Although his career is ultimately shortened by injuries and personal struggles, Thompson's impact on the game is undeniable. In fact, Michael Jordan has spoken on numerous occasions about how he looked up to David Thompson. Jordan modeled parts of his game after Thompson, particularly his mid-air control and acrobatic finishes at the rim. This connection further solidifies Thompson's influence on the modern game. Dan Isel, another player with David Thompson who would be in Denver during the merger. Unlike Thompson, Dan Isel was a different type of player. Playing at the power forward or center position, Isel was never the most physically imposing player, but he more than compensated for it with his basketball intelligence, relentless motor, and versatile offensive game, dubbing him the nickname The Horse. As this was during a later stage of his career, Dan Isel would make only one NBA All-Star in 1977, joining David Thompson. However, do not take this as a smirk on his legacy, as in the ABA he would have 6 All-Star appearances. So totaling in the 2 leagues, he would have 7 All-Star games combined. Dan Isel, in his only All-Star season in Denver in the NBA, would average 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. But in many ways, Isel was ahead of his time. His ability to score from outside the paint, combined with his toughness inside, would be the blueprint for the modern concept of the stretch big. Today's NBA places a premium on big men who can shoot from distance, handle the ball, and pass, traits that Dan Isel exhibited throughout his career. Dan Isel is a fan favorite in the city of Colorado, as once he played for the city, he would continue to be loyal and would never switch teams, retiring in 1985 as a Denver Nugget. Bobby Jones, another All-Star in this era, would be selected as an All-Star to join Dan Isel and David Thompson in the 1977 All-Star Game. However, unlike the 2 other people mentioned before, he had a different style of game. Nicknamed the Minister of Defense, Bobby Jones is most known for his time in Philly. However, in his youth, he would be a 2-time All-Star for the Denver Nuggets before going to the city of Philadelphia. Standing 6'9", Jones was versatile enough to guard multiple positions, from bigger, more physical forwards to quicker, more agile guards. He possessed an uncanny sense of timing, positioning, and anticipation, which made him a disruptive force on defense. He is another player who would excel in today's switch-heavy NBA. While Bobby Jones was primarily known for his defense, Jones was an efficient scorer, not through sheer volume, but through smart decision-making and high-percentage shots. In his 2 years, he would only average 15 points, but he would average 3.9 steals and blocks combined, with a field goal percentage of 57%. He was efficient, played the best defense, and was very smart about his scoring. He was a coach's dream and was sought after around the league, which eventually led to a trade to the Philadelphia 76ers. George McGinnis, the last All-Star to be mentioned for the 70s, was essentially the All-Star replacement for Bobby Jones. As when Denver traded Bobby Jones to Philadelphia, they were receiving George McGinnis in return. George was already a decorated All-Star as he had 3 All-Star selections in the NBA and 4 All-Star selections in the ABA. However, he would have 1 more All-Star in 1979 with the Denver Nuggets. His game was defined by his rare combination of size, strength, and skill. Standing at 6'8" and weighing around 235 pounds, McGinnis was a physically imposing forward who could dominate in the post or face off from the mid-range. His strength allowed him to bully defenders in the paint, while his soft touch around the basket made him a scoring machine. It really showed in his stats because he averaged 23 points and 11 rebounds. However, McGinnis' style of play also differed from what the Nuggets had been used to. While Bobby Jones was a defensive specialist who thrived on hustle plays and team-oriented defense, McGinnis was more of an offensive focal point. This shift in identity was difficult for the team to manage. And while McGinnis was certainly capable of taking over games offensively, the balance between offense and defense suffered. As the 1978-79 season progressed, McGinnis struggled with injuries and fatigue, which impacted his ability to maintain his high level of play. The demands of being an older player, combined with the physical toll of battling inside, began to wear on him. By the end of his first season with the Nuggets, it was clear that McGinnis wasn't quite the same player, and in his second season in 1980, the Nuggets would trade him to the Indiana Pacers. Alex English would come to Denver on the same trade with Indiana for George McGinnis in 1980, and it was the start of something beautiful. English arrived in Denver just as his team was undergoing a transition under head coach Doug Moe. Moe's coaching philosophy emphasized fast-paced, free-flowing offensive style that fit perfectly with English's skill set. This system is now known as a run-and-gun offense, relying heavily on quick shots, constant moving, and a focus on scoring over defense. English, with his versatility as a scorer, would become one of the centerpieces of this approach. At 6'7", English had the size and length to shoot over defenders, but it was his silky smooth jumper and quick release that made him nearly impossible to stop. He had a graceful, fluid style of play, characterized by his ability to score effortlessly from various spots on the court, making him a deadly scoring assassin. He would be an All-Star 8 times from 1982 to 1989, the most in Nuggets history. Alex English was also a top 10 MVP candidate 7 out of 8 times he was an All-Star, and he would lead the NBA in scoring in 1983. In those 8 years, he would average 27 points while also averaging 5 rebounds and 5 assists. On top of that, he was very efficient, as he would also average 51% on field goal percentage, which is insane for a 27 scoring machine. Alex English's impact on the Denver Nuggets extended far beyond his playing years. By the time he left the team in 1990, he had become the franchise's all-time leading scorer, a record that still stands today. His jersey number 2 was retired by the Nuggets in recognition of his contributions to the team's success, and in 1997, English was rightfully inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame, a fitting honor for a player who had quietly dominated the NBA for over a decade. Kiki Vandeweghe was the other half of Denver's success in the early 80s under Doug Moe's run-and-gun system. Kiki Vandeweghe's career in Denver began with a draft day deal that saw him move from the Dallas Mavericks to the Nuggets in 1980. The same year, Alex English got traded. Upon arriving in Denver, Vandeweghe immediately showed his potential. A 6'8" forward with a rare combination of size, skill, and shooting touch, Vandeweghe was a natural fit for Doug Moe's fast-paced offensive system. One of the most defining aspects of Kiki Vandeweghe's time in Denver Nuggets was his partnership with Alex English. Together, Vandeweghe and English form one of the most potent scoring duos in NBA history, something we'll see a lot on this list. While English operated primarily in the mid-range and baseline areas, Vandeweghe complements him with the ability to score from various spots on the floor. What made the Vandeweghe-English duo so effective was their contrasting styles. English was more methodical, smooth scorer, often using his height and length to shoot over defenders from the mid-range. Vandeweghe, on the other hand, was more dynamic and used his quickness and shooting ability to score in transition or create mismatches on the perimeter. Kiki would be an All-Star for 2 years with Alex English in 1983 and 1984. In those years, he was actually more statistically impressive than English, as he would average 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 55% shooting. In 1984, Vandeweghe's time with the Nuggets came to an end when he was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Calvin Natt, Wayne Cooper, Fat Lever, and a first-round pick. The trade was a major shakeup for Denver, as Vandeweghe had been one of the faces of the franchise for several years. However, the players Denver received in return, particularly Lever and Natt, would help the Nuggets remain competitive in the Western Conference for years to come. Calvin Natt was the first integral part of the Kiki trade to Portland. Upon his arrival in Denver, Natt quickly adapted to the fast-paced style of play that defined Doug Moe's offensive system. Standing at 6'6", Natt had the physical attribute to play both shooting guard and small forward. Natt's scoring ability was multifaceted. He excelled in mid-range shooting and was particularly effective at attacking the basket. His ability to finish strong around the rim, combined with a solid mid-range jump shot, made him a difficult player to defend. However, Natt was not just a scorer, he was also a valuable locker room presence and a leader on the court. His work ethic and commitment to winning resonated with his teammates, helping to foster a culture of competitiveness and camaraderie within the Nuggets organization. In his only All-Star appearance in 1985, he would average 23 points, 3 assists, and 8 rebounds as a guard forward. Calvin Natt's time with the Nuggets coincided with several playoff appearances during the 1980s. The team's high-scoring offense and exciting style of play drew attention, but the playoffs presented unique challenges. While the Nuggets often excelled in the regular season, they struggled to translate their success to the postseason. Basically, their plan to outscore opponents did not work in the playoffs. Calvin Natt's time with the Nuggets came to an end in 1989 when he was traded back to the Portland Trail Blazers. The trade was part of a larger shift for the Nuggets, who were looking to rebuild and shape the roster. Fat Lever was the second integral part of that Kiki trade to Portland that changed the later years of the 80s for the Denver Nuggets. Known for his versatility, playmaking ability, and his tenacious defense, Lever was a key figure in the Nuggets' transition into one of the most exciting offensive teams in the league. Lever quickly became a vital component to the Nuggets roster. His transition from player to leader was marked by a significant increase in his offensive production. He embraced his new role as both a scorer and a facilitator, contributing to the Nuggets' high-octane offense while also enhancing his teammates' performance. Fat Lever, standing at 6'3", possessed the physicality to finish at the rim while also having the finesse to create scoring opportunities for himself and the others. Lever's ability to navigate through defenses allowed him to penetrate and either score or find open teammates for easy baskets. Fat Lever was a dog on defense and rebounding. He would really push himself and hustle for every play possible. He would be selected as an All-Star in 1988 and 1990, averaging 19 points, 7 assists, and 9 rebounds as a point guard. It's pretty insane that he averaged more rebounds than assists as a point guard, and that was in both All-Star seasons. As the late 80s approached, the Nuggets faced changes in their roster and coaching staff. While Lever continued to produce, the team underwent a transition, leading us to a shift in the overall direction. In 1990, Fat Lever was traded back to the Portland Trail Blazers. His departure marked the end of an era for the Nuggets, but his legacy within the organization remained strong. Dikembe Mutombo, the only all-star for the Nuggets for the 90s, was a special type of player. Known primarily for his defensive prowess and shot-blocking ability, Mutombo transformed the Denver Nuggets during the 1990s. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest defensive centers in basketball history. After an impressive college career, Mutombo declared for the 1991 NBA Draft, where he was selected as the 4th overall pick by the Denver Nuggets. Starting at 7'2" and weighing around 250 pounds, Mutombo brought an imposing physical presence to the court. His shot-blocking ability and rebounding skills immediately made an impact on the Nuggets' defensive scheme. In Mutombo's rookie season in 1991 to 1992, he averaged 10 points, 10 rebounds, and astonishing 4 blocks per game. On top of that, he made the All-Star team as a rookie. His defensive capabilities were not limited to shot blocking alone. Mutombo was a master of positioning, using his height and wingspan to intimidate opponents. He could guard multiple positions and was equally adept at defending post players as well as perimeter shooters. While Mutombo was primarily known for his defense, he also made notable contributions on the offensive end. In his early years, he was primarily a pick-and-roll finisher and an offensive rebounder. As he developed throughout the years, Mutombo expanded his offensive repertoire, showcasing a soft shooting touch around the basket and improving his free throw shooting. He would be voted as an All-Star 3 times in Denver. In 1992, his rookie year, but also in 1995 and 1996. In these 3 years, he averaged 14 points and 12 rebounds, but he would have almost 4 blocks a game, which also resulted in him winning DPOY in 1995. However, he was traded to the Atlanta Hawks after his 3rd All-Star appearance with Denver in 1996. His time with the Denver Nuggets is a testament to his greatness as a player and his impact on the franchise. His defensive dominance, leadership, and contribution to the team's success during the 1990s have left a mark on this organization. On top of that, him passing away recently was a big factor to why I wanted to make this video sooner than later. While he may have moved on to other teams in his career, his legacy in Denver remains strong, and he will always be remembered as one of the greatest centers in NBA history. Trademarking the iconic finger wag, may you rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo. Antonio McDyess was a versatile forward known for his athleticism, rebounding ability, and scoring prowess. McDyess joined the Nuggets at a pivotal moment for the franchise, because in the early 2000s, the Denver Nuggets were in a phase of rebuilding and searching for a new identity. In the 1995 NBA Draft, McDyess was selected as a 2nd overall pick by the Los Angeles Clippers, but was immediately traded to the Denver Nuggets. His arrival in Denver marked the beginning of a significant chapter in his career. Antonio played a significant role in changing the Nuggets' style of play. Under head coach and former Denver All-Star Isel, the Nuggets adopted a more up-tempo offense focusing on fast break and scoring and transition. In the 2001 season, he averaged 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. This performance earned him recognition around the league and was selected as an NBA All-Star in 2001, marking the highest point in his career. Despite his success, McDyess faced significant challenges during his time with the Nuggets. In the very next season, he suffered a severe knee injury that would require surgery and keep him sidelined for much of the season. After recovering from his injuries, McDyess would only play 2 more seasons with Denver. But by 2004, the team decided to trade him to the Detroit Pistons in a move aimed at reshaping the roster around younger talent. This trade would mark the end of an era for McDyess in Denver. Allen Iverson was actually a 2-time All-Star in Denver, and not a lot of people know this. The answer, being most known for playing in Philadelphia, had a 2-year stint in Denver to bolster their roster with a superstar to complement their existing talent, including the emerging star Carmelo Anthony. Standing at only 6 feet tall and weighing around 165 pounds, he was often undersized compared to his opponents, but his speed and quickness allowed him to thrive. In his first season with the Nuggets, Iverson averaged 26.5 points, 7.2 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. On top of that, he had 2 steals a game. One of the most significant memories of Iverson's tenure in Denver was his partnership with Carmelo Anthony. The 2 stars formed a dynamic duo, combining for a potent offensive attack that could challenge any defense in the league. Their contrasting styles created a unique synergy. Iverson's quickness and ability to penetrate the defense complemented Anthony's scoring finesse, strength, and versatility. Iverson's impact was recognized during his All-Star years in Denver. He earned All-Star selections in 2007, 8, and 9. This really showcased his continued excellence as a player. And in these 3 years, he would average 24 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals per game. However, the inability to progress in the postseason was a source of frustration for Iverson and the team. Despite their regular season success, the Nuggets were unable to break through the playoff barrier, leading to questions about the team's composition and its ability to compete at the highest level. After 3 seasons in Denver, Iverson's time with the Nuggets came to an end in 2009, when he was traded to the Detroit Pistons. This was very weird as he was traded during an All-Star year. However, this trade marked a turning point for both Iverson and the Nuggets. Chauncey Billups joined the Denver Nuggets in 2008 as part of a trade from the Detroit Pistons. The Nuggets were looking for a player who could bring leadership and experience to a team filled with young talent, including rising stars like Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith. At this point in his career, Billups was not just an accomplished player, but also a seasoned veteran who had experience leading a team to an NBA championship. Billups' performance during the first season did not go unnoticed, as he had already earned a first All-Star selection in 2009. He would be selected again in the following year, 2010. So in those 2 years, he out-averaged 19 points, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Chauncey Billups' time with the Denver Nuggets left a lasting legacy that is remembered fondly by fans and players alike. He transformed the team into a legitimate contender in the Western Conference, leading the franchise to multiple playoff appearances and establishing a culture of hard work and accountability. However, as the years progressed, Billups faced challenges with injuries that impacted his performance. Despite these setbacks, he continued to fight through adversity, demonstrating his resilience and commitment to the game. His leadership became even more crucial during these times, as he helped guide younger players in navigating the challenges of professional basketball. And lastly, Chauncey Billups, aka Mr. Big Shot, would deliver multiple times in clutch moments by which many Nuggets fans will remember him by. Carmelo Anthony, a prolific scorer and one of the most talented forwards in NBA history. He joined the Denver Nuggets after being selected as the 3rd overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft. Anthony was immediately recognized for his scoring ability, versatility, and high basketball IQ. Setting at 6'7" and weighing around 240 pounds, he possessed a unique blend of size, skill, and athleticism that set him apart from his peers. In his rookie season alone, he averaged 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. However, a combination of inconsistent team performance, Anthony's own growth and consistency, and the fact that the Western Conference was the most talented conference at this time, Carmelo would not be selected for his first All-Star selection until 2007. And after this, he would repeat this 3 more times in Denver. What really set Anthony apart was his exceptional scoring ability. He was known for his smooth shooting stroke, effective mid-range game, and his ability to finish at the rim. And on top of that, no one could forget his infamous jab step. Throughout his All-Star years with the Nuggets, he consistently ranked among the league leaders in scoring. In those 4 All-Star years, he would average 26 points and 7 rebounds. The pinnacle of his success came during the 2008-2009 season, where the Nuggets finished with a 54-28 record and made a deep playoff run. Anthony averaged 28.7 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 5.6 assists that season. This pretty much earned him a spot on the All-NBA team. The Nuggets would reach the Western Conference Finals, where they ultimately fell to the Los Angeles Lakers. This journey highlighted Anthony's impact and ability to elevate the team. In 2010, the Nuggets made a headlines where they traded for All-Star point guard Chauncey Billups. While this move added another dimension to the team, it also brought up questions about Anthony's future in Denver. The increasing trade rumors created a tense atmosphere, leading to speculation about whether he would remain with the franchise long term. The situation reached a boiling point in 2011, where Anthony was traded to the New York Knicks. The deal marked the end of an era for the Nuggets and the beginning of a new chapter for Melo. While this trade allowed him to return to New York, where he had roots, it also signaled the conclusion of his time as a face of the Nuggets franchise. Nikola Jokic would save the franchise of Denver because since Melo left the organization in 2011, the Nuggets would not have an All-Star for almost 8 years and were flying in mediocrity. Nikola Jokic was selected by the Nuggets as the 41st overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft. Pretty much every NBA fan knows this, but he was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. Coming from a relatively modest basketball background in Serbia, he entered the NBA with an unorthodox playing style. During his rookie season, he only averaged 10.7 rebounds and 2 assists. But he was demonstrating a glimpse of his future potential. His ability to distribute the ball from the post was uncommon for a center, setting the stage for his evolution as one of the most versatile big men in the league. After 6 years, Jokic's breakout season came in 2019-2020, where he averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. This performance earned him his first All-Star selection, marking a significant milestone in his career. Jokic's exceptional court vision allowed him to find open teammates and set up scoring opportunities, emphasizing his role as a facilitator and a leader. However, in 2021, only the next year, would he make the biggest jump and average 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists on 56% shooting. He would also be named the 2021 NBA MVP. But this is not the only thing. So far, in his 9 years of being a Denver Nugget, he is quite easily the most decorated Nugget when it comes to achievement. He has 6 All-Stars, 6 All-NBAs, 1 Western Conference MVP, and 3 MVP. And most importantly, he gave the Denver Nuggets something they never had before, and that was winning the 2023 NBA championship. This was the first time in team history to win this, which also awarded Nikola Jokic his first finals MVP. The craziest part is he's only 29, and like Alex English, Billups, and even Iverson, these guys played and was an all-star till their mid-30s. So it's safe to say that Nikola Jokic is already the greatest all-star in Denver Nugget history. So those are every Denver Nugget all-star. Comment down below which team I should make a video on next. I'm thinking either Golden State or Chicago. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.